All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Calm Hustle ClayTime. So, this is my new idea. My name is Tanya Hagery, and I have been an entrepreneur for many, many years. I'll share my story over time, but I am so excited to be talking with you on this new concept of playing with clay and talking business and leadership principles. So I've been an entrepreneur with my current e-commerce business now just over 7.5 years. It has absolutely changed my life, and I love so much and everything about it. However, the last few years, I've been in this total transformation phase of figuring out who I am now. I just will be turning 46 years old in May. Over the years, I moved from Minnesota. My family's in South Dakota. I lived for over 20 years in Minnesota. And we ended up moving to Arizona to escape the winter, get into a better tax situation, all of the things. So once we landed here in Arizona, I literally went on a little journey of figuring out who I was in this new space without all of the family I had been around all my life, all the friends, all the community I had built. And that has been quite the journey. So that is why I'm here and excited to share with you, because different parts of this journey are now super coming into play and parts I never expected. So I'm excited to be here. So let's talk first about Arizona, and it kind of leads into how I ended up playing with clay and coming into this concept. So back in 2019, my business had just taken off, and we knew we were going to have to make some major decisions because the tax situation was not the greatest. We lived in Minnesota, a little bit of a higher tax situation, which is great, but we didn't have kids. We didn't have any of the things that those taxes all paid for, and our write-offs were few as well. So we started taking a look at where could we be in a better situation financially, and where could we escape the winter, because winters were brutal. So first we spent 1 month driving all across Tennessee. And then that was in, I can't remember what month we did that. But anyways, we spent a whole month driving across Tennessee, I believe in the fall of 2019. Then in March of 2020, we booked a house in Sedona in Arizona. We had never been here. And honestly, I did not have people in my life that retired to Arizona or spent winters in Arizona. That's a very typical thing. I did not have that. So Arizona was really not on my radar. It was just one of the cities or one of the states that my husband had not vetoed. He didn't want to be in the humidity of Florida. He had vetoed Texas. So Arizona was one of the next states that had a good tax scenario and much better winters. So I was looking at an article that said that the average temperature in Sedona was around 70 degrees, 75 degrees. So I was like, let's go stay there. It looks amazing. Well, obviously, yeah, it's one of the most amazing places on earth, I think. And we loved it. The second we got to Arizona, I literally could not stop saying, there's like an energy in the soil. I cannot get over how it feels to be here in Arizona. So long story short, Arizona it was. So we've been here now, and there's much more to that story. We'll get into that later, but we've been here now for almost 5 years. And as I'm building business in the e-commerce space, primarily online, and prior to moving here, it was primarily in person. But I don't know about you, but one of the things that COVID did for me is it really transformed how I use my energy on the daily basis. And I used to do so much networking in person. I would go out and meet people. I would go out and find new networking groups to be a part of. Like, I counted in my Google Calendar, and some weeks I was doing as many as 17 different networking meetings a week. That is a lot. And I always thought I was so extroverted. And after COVID, it kind of caused us all to pause and learn a different way of life. I found that coming out of that, I really did gain a lot of energy and really felt good, a little bit more in my own space at home and a little bit more intentionally. And that has really caused me to pause and figure out all of the different ways that I could expand my network and build my business. So utilizing LinkedIn, utilizing Instagram and Facebook, obviously, and really transforming how I meet and connect with people that I really vibe with. So in that experience, I'm trying to find the balance the last couple of years of how I want this to look. And I don't know about you, but figuring that out and letting that transition and change from time to time, that has truly been a journey. So here I am now, and I met with a couple of my mentors last year and some of the coaches I work with. And twice it came up, Tanya, you need a new hobby. I think you need something to bring new energy. You love what you do, but I think you just need some new energy around your space. And so here we are. And here's how it happened. I tried to get into pickleball, and that still will probably have a space in my life, but it just didn't grab me in the same way. And I'm married to an artist. Like, I don't know if I should mess with this camera, but there is art happening all over my life. There's canvases everywhere, like all kinds of things all over my life. And I have always said I'm the entrepreneur behind the artist and the businesswoman and all of those things. I did not love art. I didn't even like art in college or high school or elementary school. I was not that kid that played with art. I read books. That's about it. Let's see if we can get this straightened out here. There we go. I just wasn't that person. So ironically enough, we were sitting at Thanksgiving with our good friend Tyler and his wife and kids, and he is an artist. He and my husband are very connected. We worked on some businesses prior, and the two of them are always doing art. Tyler and my husband Neil, always doing art. And Tyler mentioned the Great Pottery Throwdown. And we had loved the Great British Baking Show. I love the positive, quirky creation. I love any stories about creating. And it was just such a great show. So I was super excited to come home and watch the Great Pottery Throwdown. So that is what we did. Well, by December, something in my brain had just started expanding and opening in a different way. And I could not stop thinking about clay and pots and all of these things and art. My fingers just wanted to play in it. They wanted to explore, and just like, I couldn't hardly stop myself. There are puppies playing under the table now. As you see, we have little dachshunds. They are feeling the energy as well, obviously. So anyways, I could not help but be excited about it. So that led to our first throwing class. Now we're on to our fourth, will happen on Thursday. We just had another one yesterday, and I went crazy. I bought a crafting table on Marketplace. I bought all kinds of paints on Marketplace. I'm coming home from Michael's with some Mod Podge. Like, I bought air clay so we could play with it at home and all of the things. And how did this, like, why is this all of a sudden such a thing? And I was listening to a podcast about clay, like you do. Such a normal thing, right? And there are people that are called clay therapists. So they're therapists, but when someone walks into the room, they hand people a lump of clay to play with. This is a pot my husband just made, but imagine if you're sitting there forming and playing with clay. You're looking at it, which gives you a very safe space to talk. But as I was listening to this clay therapist talk, she was talking about how clay is one of the most energetic materials because it's literally made, excuse me, it's literally formed from ground volcanic rock. So there's so much energy, minerals, all of the things in clay. And then, oh my goodness, there's a lot of puppy playtime down here. When you have all of that energy and that connection, and it's all through your fingertips, which are so just tons of nerve endings and all of that good stuff. Like, it is a thing. It is energetically just amazing. And I think that is why I'm so connected to it. So it has infused energy into my business, into everything I do, into my relationships, into my new connections. And I'm so excited about it. So I thought, why not have time, have a podcast, do interviews, do conversation over clay. So we're going to have Calm Hustle Clay Time. And I'm really, really excited about it. So in this last 5 minutes or so here, I am going to get to work and I am going to actually put a glossy finish on this first little set that I've actually finished. And while I'm doing that, just talk about a little bit more of the experience, and what you have to look forward to if you'd like to follow along. So I'm actually gonna do a glossy finish on these, I believe, with this Mod Podge. This is the first time I'm using it. So apparently in the crafting world, Mod Podge is all the rage and used for all kinds of things. There are all kinds of different finishes we could use, but I'm just gonna start where everybody else starts with this Mod Podge stuff. So the first thing I bought when I got started was a natural air dry clay from, and I don't recommend it. The chance that these survive is low. I will show you all the discards. 1 second here. So these are all the discarded clay things that have broken because it is so fragile. Did not know this. In the notes below in the description, I will give you some different links to people that review air dry clay. So if this is something you want to do, you can explore, but watch. Like, this is how easy it breaks. Just broke right off. So this is obviously not one that I'm really gonna do once I get to the point where I'm making things that are really special to me. Not gonna be this clay. But air dry clay means you don't have to put it in a kiln. So you can just play with it at home. It'll dry in the air and then you can paint it and it's good to go. Best to put a sealer on it too. But the first one I bought was this natural 10 pounds of air dry clay, and this is the stuff I would not recommend. So I'll put in a little review that a different YouTuber did so that you can explore if you'd like. So I made these out of that air dry clay. This is my first little vase that I made, which I was pretty excited about. So these have been, I used gesso after they were done, which is some type of lays down the first kind of level. So the paint kind of sticks better and you don't have to use as much paint. Then I painted them white and then I followed another little tutorial to learn how to do these flowers. Now keep in mind, I am not an artist at all. Historically, I've not done any art. How about that? Be careful with those I am statements. So I'm pretty excited about these, you guys. And it's so easy to just live in the moment. And the world is kind of a heavy place. So I have had so much fun just diving into these. So Mod Podge, we're gonna seal them up today. So you take, and I'm just gonna get some of this and let's see how this looks, I guess. Ready? This purple ended up so much darker. Yeah, it's just gonna put a clear coat over it. Okay, it's basically glue, I think. So you put this over the top and then that seals it up and dries clear, apparently. This is a tiny paintbrush. I might get a bigger paintbrush for this. So I am learning and exploring all of these different things, but what I'm loving about it is that it's keeping me in real time. It's keeping me present in such a different way. And I've discovered breath work over the last few years, and that's been fantastic. And I still kind of am excited to have something to share and do with others. Sharon, my husband and I have both been working on art lately, getting a bigger paintbrush. Let's make this process go a little bit quicker. And I just am excited for where this is going to go as far as conversations and staying in the moment and going through the different phases of business growth and having something that can hold my attention. What I found was a lot of times in the middle of the night, I don't know about you, but I will wake up and my brain will be thinking about everything but sleep. And that always used to be numbers and business, and a lot of times things I couldn't control. And one of the exciting things that's happened for me in the last few weeks is I wake up thinking about art and just the next fun thing I want to try. So it's not that it's completely stopped some of that busy brain, but I think it's put it in a healthier place. And what that has meant for me for business is that when I do sit down to connect with people and have meetings and do work, I am in a place of positive energy because I haven't been in that place of just mind racing thinking about work. You know, a lot of times I think people are exhausted and they say it's because they've been working so much. It's actually not. It's because they've been worrying about working. I ask that question all the time. Are you really exhausted from working on your business, or are you exhausted from worrying about working on your business? Very big difference. And just so much more energy and from a much more positive place, you guys. And I think that's going to make a big difference in this next year. My plan is to double my business, my revenue. And that's a big darn goal. So I knew I needed to change something that was mostly around how I showed up and, you know, getting that excitement that I have for life back. And because business is a marathon and I love what I do, but I had to somehow bring a new energy to it. And I'm excited because I think this is my avenue for that. I know it is actually. And I'm excited to have new conversations with people and get to do more interviews and conversations and get better at this, get better at communication and not overthink it. So yeah, so I will show you in just a minute. I'm gonna let this dry. I think all the way around this little pot here, and she's looking so cute. And then I will show you the difference between the one that has the Mod Podge over it and the one that doesn't in just a second here. Next time I'm gonna need to paint this little cactus, so I'm gonna work on that. But I'm excited to do some interviews and not treat this from a perfectionist place. I could have waited until the dogs were perfectly situated, until I had an outline of everything I wanted to talk about, and until everything was just set up. But instead I was like, you know what? I have been thinking about this for a week. We are just going to take action and go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And that is exactly what I've done. So I hope you guys enjoy this first episode of me jumping all over the place. And we will see where this goes and grows. And I hope you'll come create with me. So thank you for joining me. Calm Hustle ClayTime. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.